Hey, Savvies. Happy Thursday. Super excited to have you all here with us. Once you jump in, let us know that you can hear us, see us okay. I know the team is going to be here in the comments supporting and answering your questions and cheering us on. But once you get on, let us know that you can hear us and see us okay. And let us know where you're watching from. I know that we have lots of people tune in from the US and around the world, and we want to know where you are hanging out with us anywhere that you are. I know that here in Texas, we are bundled up and in our snuggies trying to stay warm because it's very, very cold. We have freezing temps and freezing rain for the next 2 days. Kids are home from school, but I know lots of you are buried in snow and trying to shovel yourselves out. So let us know where you are watching from once you join the party. Melanie, what's it like where you are?
I was just going to say, isn't weather weird? So you're in Texas where it's supposed to be sunny. I'm in the mountains here in California and it's 65, 70 degrees. It's beautiful. But I feel like you stole our weather and we stole yours.
It's absolutely insane. And because it's Texas and they don't know how to handle the freezing rain, everything is shut down. So just going with the flow. It's totally fine. Well, we are super excited. Hey, Jessica and Marissa and LM, I'm so excited that you are here with us today. We are going to have a couple of special guests join us in just a few minutes, and they are some of our most fabulous SavvySystem students. They've walked through the program. They're even at the point inside of their business where they're scaling their business. And so super excited to bring them on. I want you guys to be thinking about questions that you would love to ask a SavvySystem student. I know that we've said it many times. Abby's said it, like, it doesn't have to be the SavvySystem that you invest in, right? And by the way, SavvySystem is open. We opened the doors just almost 2 weeks ago, and it's going to be open until Friday. When do we close the cart, Melanie?
Tomorrow, actually, Friday at 10 p.m. Central.
That is crazy that it's been open for 2 weeks and it's time to close the doors. Once we close the doors tomorrow, we don't open again until July later this year. But circling back, whether or not it's the SavvySystem, we want you to do your research, like dig into the different programs. SavvySystem isn't the only one, and it doesn't have to be the SavvySystem that you invest in. We think it's the best and we love it, right? But we want you to do that research. And one of the best ways that you can do that research is talk to some of the people that are actually inside. So we brought two amazing guests to join us for our conversation today. And while they're with us, think of some of those questions. Like if you were sitting across the table from them and you were enjoying a cup of coffee or a tea or water, or whatever that is, what kinds of questions would you ask them about their experience inside of the SavvySystem? And I promise they'll speak the truth. And so will we. So let's have a conversation with them. I'm going to bring them up. I have Angela and I have Scott. Welcome, my friends. Super excited to have you with us. Okay, so let's go round table. Angela, I'll start with you, and then Scott, you can follow. Tell us a little bit about who you are, where you live, where you're hanging out from, and how you found the SavvySystem.
My name's Angela York. I live in Orange County, California, where it's not snowing. It's nice and sunny. Enjoying every moment of it. I found the SavvySystem by accident. I actually have consulted for years and was in flux with my business. And I think it was Facebook that Abby just appeared somewhere. And most likely it was Facebook because that's usually where I am. And she had tips and I would listen to her tips and integrate them into what I was doing. And then at the beginning of the pandemic, I was in a flux. I lost most of my business and I went through the 5-day program thinking I could, really learn how to, reconfigure my consulting, and one thing led to another and I joined the system and here I am 2 years later.
Awesome. Scott, tell us who you are, where you're from, how you found SavvySystem.
I am Scott Johnson. I am from Ontario, Canada, I have been with the Savvy System for just over a year now. I launched January the 1st, but I found it probably in the summer of 2020. I was working, a corporate hospitality job, sales Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. And my life was changing. We adopted our kids in 2015. So having, 2 kids at home and, vacation schedules were changing. And so I wanted to become my own boss. So I went on vacation in July and decided this is just so relaxing. I want to be my own boss, make my own hours. So I went back. I quit in July. I found a part-time job to supplement the income for the interim, and then I launched in January, and I was sold out by March.
So hold on, sold out by when?
March
of the same year.
Of the same year.
So fabulous.
Yeah.
So cool. Okay, we're gonna dive into your service.
It was mind blowing.
That is insane. Okay, we're going to dive into your services in just a second. But what you may not know is that Melanie and myself are also SavvySystem alum. So Melanie, tell us who you are, what position you hold here at the Virtual Savvy, and how you found the SavvySystem.
I would love to. So my name is Melanie Fountain. I'm the SavvySystem Director here at the Virtual Savvy. But I haven't always been. I started as a student a little over 3 years ago now. And can you believe it's been 3 years, Rachel?
No, I cannot.
But I started as a virtual assistant, a general VA, and then I quickly niched into Pinterest management, and I was able to book out my services and quit my job within 6 months of starting the Savvy System myself. And since then, it has been such an amazing whirlwind. And I joined the Virtual Savvy team a little over a year ago now as the SavvySystem Director.
So cool. And for those of you who don't know who I am Rachel Dorsey. I'm the Senior Director of Product here at the Virtual Savvy. I started my virtual assistant business by joining the Savvy System in 2017, which, if we do our math, is that like 5 years? That's nuts. So joined the Savvy System. I also started as general VA, but then niched down into executive virtual assistants, where I supported high-level coaches inside of their programs and their courses. And then I joined the Virtual Savvy team in 2018 as the executive assistant, and now hold the position as Senior Director of Product. So super, super excited to be here. Okay, so let's dive into your services. Angela, tell us a little bit about where you started in your services and where you are today.
I started a consulting business a while ago, back in 2008, again, by accident. The economy turned, and I was doing administrative support, marketing implementation, and event planning locally in my local area for financial advisors and some coaches. Everything was running smoothly until the pandemic, and I lost everything. And at that point, as I referenced earlier, I had been kind of watching some of Abby's videos, learning how to up my game, keep my consulting, so I didn't have to go back to a full-time job in corporate America. And so I took my services, thanks to learning everything in the system, I took my services virtually in 2020, and haven't looked back. And so now I am, I'm 100% virtual, doing the VA work in my 3 buckets. And in the last 5 months, I've elevated, subcontracted, and I'm working in my niche high-level service.
It's so cool. And what I love about your story, Angela, is that you had been in corporate America for your entire career, right? And then when the opportunity came up, forced or not, right? Blessing, all in disguise. You took exactly what you knew and what you were experienced in, and that's what you brought to the table. I think sometimes a lot of VAs come into the virtual assistant world thinking they have to choose the service that most people want, or they need to learn a service. Yeah. And I think that that's exactly incorrect, in that you can start exactly with what you know and what you are already skilled in, and you can translate that into a virtual service, whatever
And
that
one of the things that really happened and scared me was when I lost everything at the beginning of the pandemic, because there were no events. I lost everything, except for just a little bit of my assisting work. Is I thought I either had to go back to a full-time job, whether it be virtual at the moment or in person, or I thought I needed to go into social media management because that's where I thought the money was. And that's not for me. I never have liked it. I never got it. I mean, I manage vendors to do that, but I was fearful that I needed to do that. And then when I was entrenched, when I saw the system, I knew that I could possibly revamp my existing services that I love so much into the next step and not have to do the social media, which is where I thought there is a lot of money there, but it's not really a service for me. And it worked perfectly. I'm so happy.
I love that. Scott, and then Melanie, I would love for you to think too, while Scott's telling us, like, what are some of those things that you're seeing inside of the Savvy system, even right now, of maybe hesitations, or how are people using what they already know to translate into what they're creating inside of their businesses? And it's so fun too, during this launch phase, when we have this huge influx of students, because we get to see all the amazing decisions and all the amazing ways that our students are laying that foundation inside of their business. So Scott, tell us a little bit more about your services. What do you offer? Where did you start? What does that look like today?
So when I launched, or when I was in the process of launching, I thought I wanted to kind of focus on real estate agents. I've always had a love and passion for real estate and just love looking at houses and kind of seeing what they're worth and whatnot. And so I thought I would be a real estate VA. And there was tons of real estate agents in, my own backyard here. And so I launched in January and I didn't really get any. My first client came in February and she was a naturopathic doctor. So she came from a referral. So I took her on, and we're still going strong now. And then later on, I ended up getting a couple mortgage brokers. So similar to real estate, right? And I was doing more general admin stuff for most of them. But when I got the mortgage brokers, I was doing a lot of client gifting. So like for closing gifts, birthday gifts, we did special events. We did tea parties, and we did beer tasting events and, fall fun fairs. So I've always had a passion for customer service ever since I was 16, working at McDonald's. So that's kind of the direction I'm taking my business now, as I'm focusing in 2022, is getting into client experience management and offering that service to higher end professional services like lawyers, insurance brokers, financial advisors, because they all want to keep and retain their clients and look for referral business from them from their clients. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. But again, I've had so much interest in my own backyard. All my clients are in the Niagara region in Ontario here. I've got one client who's in Alberta, but she was actually a past client from when I worked in the hotel industry. So she, again, knew me already. So there's so much, and I think there's so much more untapped potential in my own backyard. I don't really want to necessarily walk away from that. So I'm kind of doing two things. I'm doing the niche of the client experience management, but I'm also going to take on a team of subcontractors and be almost like a micro agency to focus on the general admin stuff, right? Social media, podcast management, things like that.
Very cool. I've got lots of questions. Melanie, tell us what you're seeing inside the Savvy system, even right now with people getting started. What are people starting to offer? What kind of services packages are they putting together inside of the community that you're seeing?
Absolutely. And speaking to what Scott said, which I love, is that you went in knowing what, kind of what you wanted to do. And I see a lot of savvies doing that too. Like, okay, I have experience in this field, real estate, for example, and then go in and realize, well, maybe that's not the route that I want to go. So a lot of students start with the skills that they already have in their corporate life or, even, jobs that they've had, and they just start because they need to get clients, right? So I see a lot of students coming in with previous experience that they just use in their packages. But I also see a lot of people that have been stay-at-home moms and that have kind of their hesitations are, what am I going to bring to the table? I know what I want to do,
Yeah.
but I don't know how my skills are applicable. And really, inside of the Savvy system, one of the lessons is literally going and seeing, like going through a list of 101 skills and saying, okay, what can I offer right now? And even as, a stay-at-home mom or somebody that is transitioning, it could be, if you can turn on a computer and log into Facebook, or if you can send an email, then you have more skills than you realize. And so if, a lot of students are right now coming into this place of figuring out where they're at, and then how it translates into services. And what the great thing about the Savvy system is that you get to use the skills that you already have, and then have the opportunity to figure it out, what you actually want to do while you offer the services. So we generally see people starting as general VAs, but quickly realizing within those services what they actually love to do, and then making that transition along the way.
Right. And that's what we teach inside the Savvy system, right, guys? Like, we teach you that we want you to create the business that you love, doing what you love, where you love, when you love, with who you choose, right? So that's what we want to get you to. Scott, I want to ask you a question. How did the Savvy system help you navigate through the setup of those services and packages? What was your experience inside of the Savvy system doing that?
I think it just gave me the confidence. It gave me the step-by-step instructions, right? Like, very easy, 1, 2, 3, do it, right? And again, I have a kind of a small business background. Like, I've got a family. I come from a family-run business, so I kind of know the day-to-day operations of it. But I mean, again, I came from a sales background, right, where I had my own assistant to do the contracts and things like that for me. So again, this just gave me a little bit more knowledge and gave me like the contracts and the templates and everything, right? Like, everything I needed to do to run my business, right?
So cool. Okay, guys, we're going to talk money in just a few minutes. But before we do, I want to talk about some of the fears that y'all had. So let's talk about fears that you faced at the beginning, maybe even fears that you're working through right now. Angela, I would love for you to start. As you were looking at losing everything, right? And basically going into a whole new kind of work field. What were some of the fears that you had to address and work through?
Oh my goodness. So many. At the beginning of the pandemic, you had the fears that came with the pandemic. We all were shut off. How do I get myself out there looking for part-time jobs, full-time jobs? Having imposter syndrome. What can I do? I've been doing the same thing for 2020. So same thing for 12 years. So can I do something else? I went on job interviews and I was terrified and thinking this isn't the right fit. How am I going to be gone all day and go to school functions and handle the mom things I needed to do? And then when I started kind of pivoting and seeing a new direction, will this work for me? Can I do it? I was having an accountability partner was huge because it gave me somebody to talk to, watching your lives. I was literally a Savvy System addict at the very beginning. I wanted to take in all of the tools and having it all there in one spot was very comforting and helpful for me. I remember after I did the 5-day course, I talked to my husband and I'm like, I think I could do, I've been in business for a long time and I've been in, my career a long time. I could do all this stuff to revamp myself, but it would probably take me a couple of years. And this system has it all laid out for things that I had never done. Admittingly, I had never separated my finances into my own checking account for business. I didn't have an EIN number, all these things. So I started this new chapter the right way, and it's been smooth. Literally, I have my accounting all click of a button, the EIN number, taxes were seamless. But my fears were, can I do this? Can I get my money, my investment back? What will it look like? And I still don't know what my future will look like because I'm in the middle of a pivot again. and it's exciting, but I know that I have the support behind me, and I can do it. It's you just have to put one foot in front of the other and look at one, what's right in front of you. Is it you need the income right away? Then get the portfolio done and start answering job ads. Then you can put the other pieces together behind it. If it's that you want to get all set up and feel ready to go when you have some income coming in, then do it that way. So you can choose which path you decide to go, and just put your fears behind you. You can do it. You're here for a reason. Even now I get imposter syndrome, as Rachel well knows. There's no reason to have it.
So good. Okay, answer this one quick question. What would you say was most helpful for you inside of the Savvy system? If you could name one thing, what was most helpful for you?
The community, the support.
Oh, I love that. Okay, Scott, let's dive into your fears, shall we? Let's lay it all on the table.
So I'll echo what Angela said, and I don't think we ever get over imposter syndrome. Even as I'm, focusing on rebranding my business and my niching and whatnot, I still get it, right? I don't think it ever goes away. Luckily, I'm able to kind of get over it pretty quickly. I don't let it reside for quite a while, but it does happen. I think when I initially launched, I was fear of failure. I was scared of putting myself out there, announcing it on Facebook and Instagram and telling people I'm self-employed, I'm a virtual assistant, and then it not happening and not succeeding, having to go back to the 9-to-5 job or finding a retail job or something like that, right? So it's just fear of failure.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say it's true, and that fear, like Scott said, never really goes away. But you learn how to deal with it, and you learn how you, with the community and the support, you get the tools to work through those thoughts. So that was really good, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott, same question to you. What was most helpful for you inside of the Savvy system as you were getting started?
I'm going to agree with Angela, the community, right? I mean, of course, I had all the tools to do everything I needed to do, but just having people that were kind of in the same boat as I was, going through the same steps and motions and feelings and fears. I met so many people in Canada and the States that are now like good friends that we chat, back and forth on Messenger and whatnot, right? So just that new sense of community and whatnot.
That's so cool, because the course, right, is literally laid out in a super linear way where you can go step by step, starting at the beginning, going each lesson. It's already laid out for you. But then when we throw the community aspect on top of it, where you have a safe space with people that understand and that are working through the same trials and struggles and imposter syndromes that you are, like it's just icing on the cake to make it that much better and so much more rewarding. Melanie, do you see any comments or questions in the chat that you wanted to bring forward before we go on to the money aspect, y'all? We're going to talk numbers.
Absolutely. And Kim actually said that social media management is not what I know and not really what I want to do. And that, Angela, you made her feel better about that, because there are so many people that don't want to do social media management and are really successful. And so that's just one niche that you can get into.
It's a great niche, but it's just not for me. So absolutely go with what you know, go with what you love, and make it better.
I was in the same boat. I hated social media, right? I didn't get it. I could not.
And here we are.
Right? Now,
mind you.
I'm very lucky that I've got a sister who's a marketing genius, right? So she did my website, she did my Facebook stuff for me. So I'm very lucky. But yeah, social media is not for me.
Yeah.
So.
I need social media help if anyone wants to help me.
Oh, watch the thread now. Tiffany says, go ahead, Melanie.
If you're on the fence on the Savvy System, take the jump. It's so worth it. And Tiffany is one of our amazing Savvy System students. So thank you, Tiffany. And then also, so there's a question for Scott. Are we holding on for questions to the end?
Bring it forward. We're at a space.
Okay.
Bring it forward. Let's go.
Scott, I heard you say you were from Ontario, as am I. My question is, what extra resources did you have to tap into outside of the Savvy system regarding taxes, accounting, and legal?
Oh, good question,
Not
Kelly.
honestly, there wasn't a lot. There were maybe a few things that I had to look into. I mean, the contract that the Savvy system gives you is phenomenal. Even when I had the lawyer review it to make sure it was, you know, valid in Canada, she didn't have too many concerns about it. Just obviously changing a few things here and there. So the contract they give you is fantastic. Just again, make sure that it's legal in Ontario or where you're residing. I think you guys have EIN numbers there. I had to get a master business license, an MBL, just to be a sole proprietor. Right now I am in the process of incorporating as well, again, to take my business to the next level. But very few things that, were different, right? Maybe a couple things, wasn't that bad at all.
Awesome.
If I could integrate or jump in on that too,
Yeah.
because I use a subcontractor in Canada. I'm going to butcher it, Saskatchewan. In any case, I met her through the system. We were accountability partners, and now she subcontracts for me. And on my end, it's very easy. She provided me a W-8 Ben. Again, I might butcher that as well. It's super easy because I was, in fact, half the time I forget she's even in Canada. She's Central Time Zone for me, which is her own time zone. But yeah, it's very seamless for Canada to work with the US and vice versa. And from the employee client standpoint, it was very seamless. I just have her Ben, W-8 Ben, and I'm going to submit it with my taxes, and that's it. Easy.
But even when I launched, again, I had a friend. So I had known what a VA was for quite some time. One of my assistants from the hotel, probably about 5 or 6 years ago now, she had went off on mat leave and decided to not come back if she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and so she became a virtual assistant. So I had known about being a VA for quite some time, and all her clients were in the States or kind of all over. So I was kind of expecting to have American clients, even though I didn't really want them. No offense, Americans.
No offense,
just with the exchange rates and all that fun stuff. And again, all my clients are in my own backyard. They're all here in Ontario, right? And one in Alberta.
I think that's a really good point. I mean, some of us are going to have clients that are literally in our own backyard, in our own circle. And that's where we suggest that you start, and we teach you what to do and how to do that even within your own circle. But sometimes our clients are international. Sometimes they're across states or different territories. You can make your business look whatever you want it to look like. And I think that the Savvy system just does an amazing job of giving you those fundamental pieces to put together, but they don't just give you those pieces. We teach you how to put those pieces together to actually make a business that works well.
And the tools, because I know that Amanda doing her invoicing, again, I forget she's in Canada because everything comes over to me and it's US, everything. There's no issue, no converting. It's seamless to me. So whatever, I think she's used Dubsado. So whatever she does on the back end makes it seamless to the US client.
I love that. You have some fans. So after we're done, jump into the thread. We would love to follow you guys. Like, drop your websites, drop your handles. These two are doing amazing things. And we're actually going to talk about money and talk about return on investment, because that's often a concern and question that people want to hear from our students. Like, what did that return on investment look like? So Angela, let's start with you. When were you able to see that ROI for yourself?
Well, it keeps growing. It's never been back to where I was at. I started seeing it literally definitely 3 months. So I started in August. I signed up August 2020, and I signed my first official VA client in October 2020 from a job op in the Savvy system. And she's still a client of mine. And so that's when I started with my definite ROI, because I was at about $2,000 a month in August, which was not enough for me to sustain my family. And then in October, I was at $5,200.
Wow. Whoa!
And I pulled the numbers right before we got on because I tracked it. One of the things
so
in the Savvy system was a Trello board to track your goals. And I still have that. And still every month I put in what I had estimated I wanted to receive versus what I actually billed.
That's amazing.
So inside of the Savvy system, we have milestones built in, right? Like we want to celebrate you as you're working through the Savvy system, each step that you're taking. Once you get your first client, you get into the Boss Club, which allows you to track, or we give you prizes, milestones for amounts that you're making per month. So Angela, my question to you is, have you reached the 10,000 a month milestone?
Yes. So fast forward to August 2021, 1 year, I hit the $10,000 mark.
That
it's not
amazing.
consistent. It's absolutely, some months you have down to 7 or 8. Again, a far cry from 2. And 1 month I hit 12. Now, as you start to get more income, I think it was in June of 2021. So less than a year, I actually had no more space in my brain, my mind, my life. And so I had to very slowly start subcontracting because I was afraid to subcontract. I didn't want to let the money go. Oh my gosh, that's what propelled me to the next stage because
don't leave that mark. Like we're gonna that's really, really good.
It was great. And I'll talk more about it. But I was very happy with 5,000 or 6,000 a month. Very happy with it. But I had more people wanting my services, and I didn't know what to do. I was very stressed and wanted to make everybody happy. I'm a people pleaser, and I started out very slow, and I now have one full-time, well, quote unquote full-time subcontractor, another one that does other VA work for me, again from the Savvy system. And then I have other people I lean on for things that I need. And it's just going to get, and I have a partner that we've collaborated high knit services. So in any case, you had asked me about the money. So 1 year from the time I signed, August 2020 to August 2021, $10,000 a month.
Wow. That's so cool. Congratulations, Angela.
Thank you.
So
it was
cool.
exciting.
Scott, tell us a little bit about your ROI. If you have numbers, great. If you're not, that's cool too. But when did you see that ROI for yourself?
Well, again, I mean, I launched in January 2021, and I was sold out by March, right? So very quickly, I had a good return on investment. My first client, which was the naturopathic doctor, she went on to wanting to sell courses and using the Kajabi platform, right? So that was a good entry for me to kind of say, okay, well, we're going to go from general admin to some more, niche work. So I was able to up her rate quite a bit. So that helped a lot. So I would say, yeah, I'm not near the $10,000 mark. I'd say probably close to 7 or 8. But again, it's been good.
That's okay. Yeah. Who's watching?
And that's in Canadian dollars, eh?
You're not subcontracting, are you? You're not subcontracting?
And I have 3. I've got 2 subcontractors, and I've got one that I'm working with that's coming on board pretty soon as well too. And then again, as I start to focus with the my niche with the client experience stuff, and then still having the general admin, again, I hope to have some more subcontractors on board as well too.
So awesome. I think the question that Abby asks in her Ultimate VA Crash Course is how would you feel if you could make an extra $5,000 a month? And these two on the screen have done not that, but have surpassed that. How many would want to get to that point where they have that? So great job, guys. Okay. Any other thoughts on ROI? Melanie, do you have any thoughts to bring forward?
So, well, first of all, I want to bring forward, Scott has the best package name.
That one.
It's Scott. We geek out about your packages. But in terms of ROI, it doesn't matter what goal you have, because sometimes the goal really simply, like I know Rachel, your story is like this. Like sometimes your goal is just to pay for the course itself when you're getting started so that you can take the time to learn. Because all it takes really is one client to pay for that monthly investment for the Savvy system. Because it starts at $147 per month. And that's, you know, what we teach you is to start at least $25 to $30 per hour. So one package for the Savvy system could just pay for the Savvy system, and then you can take the time to work from there and start getting that experience. But you know, your goals don't have to be $5,000-$10,000 a month if that's intimidating to you. Start small. Start with that first client. Start, you know, even if you're just watching this and you don't go with the Savvy system, but you just want to get started, don't focus on those big numbers. Maybe that's the goal down the road, or maybe you just you know, like you know, Rachel's story is she just wanted to get a gym membership, and so maybe that's the goal. So you know, if you don't feel intimidated by 5-10K month, but also know if everybody on this screen can accomplish that, so can you.
Absolutely. And my goals, we talked about this last night. My husband and I went live to talk about it. Like my goals were so small. Like I did not have an intention. I was not needing to replace my full-time corporate career. I was a stay-at-home mom. I just really wanted to pay for my gym membership and pay for my son's preschool. And I was able to do that very quickly and pay for the price of the course. Did everybody on the screen do payments, or did anybody do painful?
I have a comment on that. So having lost everything because of the pandemic, and I come back to that because it was a huge deal, and I didn't want to go back to work. And so having the thought of paying for something extra at a large price point when you lost everything and really don't have, you know, room for anything extra, it was scary. And I remember talking to I wasn't going to do it, and I talked to my husband and I said, I think it'll help propel me quicker. And so he said, well, if it'll propel you quicker, go for it. So we put it, you know, I did the monthly payments and I put it on the credit card, just hoping that I wasn't going to put us into more debt, and I wouldn't be able to recoup it. And I remember it was maybe 2 months, 3 months, definitely, when I had actually was back on my feet. I called, or I emailed, and I said, okay, can I pay it all off in full now? I want to be done.
Good for you.
So it was such an exciting moment because I realized, sure, I can sustain that monthly fee at that point that I didn't think I was going to be able to. And then it's like, you know what? Let's just be done with it. And I paid it off in full.
You know, that's a really good point, is that the reason I said that is because that's what I did when I signed up. I went with the monthly payment just because I also had my full-time job, and I was like, okay, if I could at least pay for the course, then I'll feel successful. But very quickly I realized that I was, you know, that I was able to make double, triple, quadruple what that monthly payment was. And I was like, oh, I have a new goal. My goal is to quit my job, because if I could make, you know, that much money by just, you know, the small pockets of time I had while I was working, imagine what it could be if I could quit my job. And that's exactly what happened.
Very cool.
And you know,
question though.
Sorry.
Oh, Scott, what, you had a question?
Do you have to tell your husband that you're paying for it? Because I didn't tell mine.
That's a conversation for another time.
I have to tell you though. So now that I have my business set up with my own credit card and my own account, I don't have to tell him anything.
I still don't.
We got pinged for everything over $50 at that point, and we were really squeezing everything so tight because we had lost so much income with COVID. And so at that point I have to. Now I don't.
I love it.
My goal was $2,000. Again, that was kind of what I needed to pay my bills and whatnot. I'm very fortunate. My husband's a teacher, and teachers make good money here in Canada and Ontario. So he was kind of the breadwinner, right? Or my sugar daddy. So I knew I needed just to cover off that $2,000. And again, I was, you know, making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 by, you know, March, April, May, right? So
who's paying for the Disney tickets?
Still him.
Oh, okay. So Disney tickets, that brings me to my next question. Let's talk about celebration. One of our favorite questions to ask inside of SavvySystem is, how are you going to celebrate? And that's something huge that we want you to establish inside of your business, is celebrating those wins. Sometimes it may just be, I actually sent my introduction email, or I had an amazing discovery call. They said no, but I showed up and I, killed it, right? Those celebrations can look a variety of different ways. So we love to ask, how do you celebrate? Angela, what is one of your favorite ways that you have celebrated inside of your business?
Gosh, well, it always involves, a glass of wine and a special dinner with my husband. But honestly, when I see that I've gotten a new client or overcome a hurdle, I treat myself to an extra spa service. I'll go get a pedicure, or I'll go, I'll go get a little massage or something that's extra that I don't feel guilty in doing.
Extra. I love that.
Or I'll go on it. What can I buy? Okay.
Scott, how do you celebrate?
Well, I don't need an excuse to celebrate to go to Disney World, but I like to go to Disney World.
Awesome.
Honestly,
go ahead.
Not a lot. I mean, I just like to talk to friends and to, my the community and say, hey, I just had a discovery call. Hey, I just signed a new client, and we all kind of just bask in that excitement, right?
So cool. Melanie, we both have to answer that question too, because we always ask the question, but I think we need to answer it. So Melanie, how do you like to celebrate?
Okay, so I'm going to share 2 ways. So my little ways is I like to, so my love language is iced coffee and sushi. So anytime I'm celebrating a new client or a win, I will go out with a girlfriend and grab some sushi or some coffee and just sit and talk and celebrate with my people. Now, when I started the SavvySystem, my 12-month goal for celebration was to take my daughter to Hawaii. Now, for those of you that don't know, I'm a single mom. So that was a big thing for me, that I could pay for my daughter and I to go to Hawaii. And while the pandemic put a little bit of a damper in that, this last year, I finally celebrated and took my daughter and I to Hawaii. So that was such a big win. And so celebrating the small things, but also planning for those really big celebrations when you hit those big milestones too.
I love that you were able to go. Behind the scenes, the team was just praying hardcore that everybody would have a negative test and everybody could get on the plane. And I'm so glad that you were able to celebrate that way, Melanie. That's so cool. My favorite way to celebrate is coffee, hot, iced. Sometimes it's lukewarm, depending on when I need to drink it. But I love to treat myself a little bit extra, right? I love how you put that, Angela. Like, I have my traditional, what I usually like to get, but I'm celebrating today. So I'm going to do a little bit extra. Maybe it's a larger size or an extra shot of espresso, whatever that looks like. I like to do a little bit extra. One of my favorite ways to celebrate too is to go out with my husband and go out to dinner. But that also includes a babysitter, right? So getting the kids taken care of, and then we get to go out for a nice dinner and celebrate whatever that looks like. So that's one of my favorite ways to celebrate.
And speak of celebrate, I really want to celebrate Kirsten, who just signed up for the SavvySystem. Can't wait to get savvy. Yes.
Can't wait to get savvy. Oh, that's fabulous. You'll have swag coming your way before you know it. That's super cool. Okay, shall we take some questions, Melanie? I'm going to let you run the list and see what we have. Pull them up. If we've got questions for our amazing guests or about the SavvySystem, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. So we also have Ashley asked, when do you recommend making the transfer to an LLC? What do you think determines that?
Melanie, do you want to take it? And then I want to know if the other two have their LLCs.
Absolutely. So when you're just getting started, starting as a sole proprietor is really the best way to go. When you're wanting to make that transition to an LLC, really the biggest difference in that is just that extra layer of protection between, it separates your personal assets from your business assets. And so really when you're making those higher income months, when you're starting to outsource, and when you're first starting, you might not have a lot to lose there. But as you start to grow and you start to scale and you want that extra protection, that's when I would recommend. But each state is different. Some states are really cheap to get an LLC. Some are, like California, are really expensive. And so it's really when it's, I'd say as soon as you're able to is good, but it all depends on your budget.
Angela, did you get an LLC? Do you have an LLC?
No, I'm sole proprietor still, and I kind of forgot about it until you brought it up. I did not, because it's expensive. It's what, $800, $900 a year.
Yep.
And I don't, where I'm at right now, don't see an issue in needing one.
Awesome.
That could change. We'll see. This is, I'm just now doing my taxes for the first year last year that I was officially a VA, subcontracting, doing things the right way with my EIN. I'm just going to roll with it and do it when I need to do it. But no,
awesome.
I'm a proprietor. And that was easy. The EIN took 15 minutes. It was free. I had to do the ad to publicize my business. It was, $25, and that was it, on my way.
Awesome. And Scott, you're in Canada, so
yeah, I don't think we have LLCs up here. I think we just do incorporations or Inc. So again, talk to your accountant would be my suggestion. They'll have the best, feedback or resources on that. My accountant did recommend that I do incorporate. So again, I am working on that process right now. I think Melanie kind of reiterated it's just an extra layer of protection, right? So people can go can go against your the business as opposed to you personally, right?
Yeah. Good thought.
But the contract was also laid out where again, you have an extra layer. So if you are a sole proprietor, it's not like you're not protected. You are protected. You've got the terms in your contract. And my accountant did say for the time being, I was fine. So I think if you want to do it, it's there for you. If you don't, it's okay for the time being.
Yeah.
And I don't know about I don't know about the States, but in Canada, again, I know there's some tax benefits as well for incorporating versus being a sole proprietor as well too, right? So that's why my accountant recommended it as well.
Awesome. Good tips, y'all. Know your areas, know how much it costs, have those conversations with people in your circle, your accountants, if you have one, and talk through those to make the right decision for you. Again, this is your business. You get to make those executive decisions, but make sure that you educate yourself, make sure that you do that research so that you can come to the conclusion, the decision that feels best for you.
All of those tips and tools were in the SavvySystem because I didn't know, I had never done any of this. So it was you gave enough information to educate us, to tell us where to research, and you had, at that time, you had an in-house attorney that we could talk to, and it is so state specific. And in your modules, California was just, a little stepchild over here. Yeah. So there were so many like do's and don'ts, and I didn't know what to do. And so I was able to put it all together easily because my brain doesn't work on that side.
And that's a good point, because one of the benefits of being a SavvySystem student is we have these amazing contracts, but also with that you have access to the lawyer that created the contracts for specific questions regarding the contracts that you create. So if there are nuances for your state, you do have access to that as a SavvySystem student.
I still use her. I used her this week for a question.
Cool. I love it. Melanie, what other questions do we have?
So we have some great questions, but I just want to pull up some more love for Scott and Angela. That Kim loves both of your websites, and Hilagonda, I hope I said your name correctly, says Scott, that you give her hope because she's also from Ontario.
So cool.
And I need to make a quick comment on my website. So I never got to the point to redo my website with my current services because I got booked out and haven't had the time. My website is encompassing of what I do, but not the new me. But because I created my portfolio within the SavvySystem, it has everything I need. So when someone asks about me, they go to my website, which I'm sure you guys have done, and you can see my basic skills and my background and my testimonials. but then I send them the portfolio, which speaks to the modern day age, what I'm doing, all of that. And I probably won't be updating my website for a while because I have too much business.
All right, it's a good problem. I love it.
It's okay that you don't have it
Yep,
done.
100%. I didn't have a website for
I
2
barely
years.
got my portfolio done, and the business started coming in. So.
That's so good. Awesome. Melanie, what other questions we got?
So what is the best way to get clients if you don't already have the contacts?
Ooh. Well, Angela, you got your first client inside of the Savvy system, right? I think job ops is a great place to start because you already know that those people are looking. Yeah. So if you are inside of the Savvy system and even inside of our Savvy Vault, there are exclusive job ops that are posted on a weekly basis, and quite a good number of them. I see them coming through almost every single day. But there's also job ops that are posted in our free group, right? Virtual Assistant Savvies. There are job ops available there. And looking for those places where you already know clients are looking. I also want to bring something forward that Abby talks about many, many times is you may not think that you know a business owner, but the people that you know may know a small business owner. So even just you talking about it can actually open doors for conversations with people. I remember once I was sitting at the salon and I was just talking about what I do as she was coloring my hair. Yes, I get my hair colored. And she's like, oh, well, tell me more. I left the salon with a beautiful head of hair and a new client because I had talked about what I had done and she's like, I totally need you. Can you help me? So you may, in a quick glance, not think that you know somebody or have contacts, but you may be very well surprised on what may arise to the surface by just you talking about it. Any other thoughts?
One of my clients is actually where I go for chiropractic. I convinced the owner of the clinic to hire me.
That's so cool.
Right?
Well done. Well done. Any other thoughts, or do we have another question?
Yeah, we have, let's see, how do I turn customer service into a niche in the VA world?
Scott.
All eyes on me now.
That's right.
Customer service can be just like answering phone calls. So again, for that medical clinic that I support, I do like their emails, so I'm booking appointments and cancellations and whatnot. And then I have a cell phone from them that I answer phone and book, again, appointments or answer questions. So something as small as that. I just, with my mortgage brokers and a couple other clients that I support, real estate agents, for example, we just take it to the next level and we do that client gifting and the birthday gifts, and they have that budget to do that stuff, right? But again, customer service can just be something like email management or answering the phones.
And customer service is one of those services that business owners so often are ready to give up because it takes time and energy from what they're trying to do. Let's use the Virtual Savvy as an example. Like, shout out to our amazing customer service girls, Emily and Alex. Like, that's what they do. Like, that's their niche. And we have courses and products here at the Virtual Savvy, and they're answering questions about accounts or access or just general questions within, right? So that's a huge industry with course creators and coaches and just online business owners in general, right? That customer service, it could be calls, it could be emails, it could be, you fill in the blank, right? It's an amazing
social media engagement.
Absolutely.
Posts, because a lot of business owners, they'll post the post, but they don't have time to go back and follow up and engage in those responses. So that could also be an event.
Absolutely. Yeah. Melanie, what time we got? Oh, we got a few more minutes. Let's take a few more questions.
Okay. And Angela, did you hit 10K months before you brought on contractors?
No, that was a result of my bringing on the contractors.
You need those contractors.
I'd have to pull the number. I could pull it when we're on, but I think I was hovering around that 6,000, about 6,000, but it wasn't until I brought on the contractor, because what happens, and I was afraid to, I was so afraid to, I didn't want to give up business. But what happens is your subcontractor helps you with what you delegate to them. You're billing for their work, and then you can do more work. So I can build more because, so you could use subcontractors in one of two ways. So I remember I had a subcontractor, she was doing some filing for a client for me. And I was able to go to lunch with my husband. I'm like, well, this is pretty cool. And I billed for it. And then another thing too is, they're doing work that you can bill for, and you're also doing work that you can bill for. So you're billing twice as much, and or building a business. So there's lots of benefits to it. And Rachel, I fought it for so long and finally couldn't. I listened to the subcontractor section I fast forwarded and listened to it and got myself running. And I started small. I got a gal that was local to me, college student who could just help me with some filing that I could bill for. Then I was able to get the confidence to subcontract correctly and hired Amanda. Hope she's listening, watching. And I have Cassie too, another great one, subcontractors, where I did the subcontractor agreement and give them projects as I need help. And it's great. Again, I think somewhere someone touted in September, I was able to go on a 20th anniversary trip with my husband, and I was gone for 2 weeks out of the month. I did not do any work. I just kind of touched base on email or text if I needed to, and I still billed $6,500.
It's amazing.
For the month, and I didn't work. It was only 2 weeks. It was fantastic.
When you get to that point, I think
that's subcontractors.
That's what I love about SavvySystem is we're going to help you from lesson 1 right at the beginning on how to get started. But then as you continue to build your business and you market and you grow, we even have information for you when it's time to hire those subcontractors and bring those on. It really is a full encompassing product that can help you from the beginning to end.
$10,000 a month without a subcontractor. If you went to the high-end service, that was not where it's at. But yeah, awesome. You could do it without one.
And Kristen wants to know, are the subcontractors also VAs?
Angela, are your subcontractors VAs?
Yes. So my two go-to subcontractors are VAs from the SavvySystem. I also work with people who do podcasting and the other services my clients need. I look at those more as vendors and get them from referrals or whatever it might be. But yes, so my admin support are VAs.
Scott, are your subcontractors VAs?
Yeah. And I embraced having a subcontractor pretty quickly because again, I just got so busy so fast. So I had my head was spinning. And then we were doing online learning here in Ontario because schools were closed because of COVID. So again, that, took up part of my time as well, having to, watch the kids do their online learning stuff. And so I embraced my subcontractors right away. But again, my subcontractors are also in the Niagara region. Again, they're friends of mine that also became virtual assistants, during COVID. So I was able to kind of put trust in them, right?
Awesome.
I love that. Awesome.
Yep. This was super fun, y'all. I so appreciate each one of you taking the time to come forward and talk to our audience about the SavvySystem and share a little bit about your amazing stories, both very different, coming from different areas of the world, right? Coming to the table with different services, gifts, talents, and abilities, and you guys are absolutely rocking it. And going back to what we talked about earlier, it may be the SavvySystem, it may not be the SavvySystem. We want you, if you're looking at becoming a virtual assistant, to find the best resource for you. We think SavvySystem is the best out there, but if you aren't jiving with our community or with information, that's fine, but do your research, talk to people, ask the questions, and find the system that works best for you. Thank you guys. Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Melanie, for being here today. Don't forget, SavvySystem is open, but only until when, Melanie?
Tomorrow, Friday at 10 p.m. Central Time.
Right. And go ahead, Melanie.
I was going to say also, if you guys want to hang out with us more and ask us more questions, we're going to be here tomorrow. What I think is at 8 p.m. Central, where we're going to come hang out in our pajamas with our coffee or, whatever beverage.
Right.
And we're going to come hang out with you guys tomorrow here inside of the VA Savvies group as well, or on our page or YouTube channel.
Yeah, we start that live at 8:30, and we will be counting down until the cart closes at 10 o'clock. So if you have more questions or you just want to hang out with us, come join us tomorrow night. Thank you again, guys, for joining us. You have a great rest of your day. And Scott, 10K is coming. I know, it's right around the corner.
Working on it.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.